All right. What's up, guys? Let's get into it. We got PPI today and very soon. Very, very soon. What's up, everyone? Saludos. Happy Wednesday. Let's get it. What's up, Nikki, Diego, Alonzo, Luis, Hema. We got Caius in here, Seth, Gallardo, Vaughn. All right, so I'm looking at indices to kick things off here. And I have an idea of what we could get here. The clear setup that I see so far would be a nice play here with MNQ. Now, let me know if you see the same thing. We get a nice sweep right here. Clearing these lows for a move higher. I want to double check with NQ here real quick. All right, yeah, so we haven't quite gotten back down there yet. So I definitely like this idea. A big sweep down. You have kind of an order block right here too. Some support right over here in the past. So I do think we can get a nice setup right in this little pocket. Buenos dias. Yeah, we have like a nice sell right there. Here's the last bearish move before it goes up. So 25,725 maybe. Let's see. Let me just kind of narrow this focus down. Yeah, right around here. I'm with this. Right there. Stops right there. We break above this high here, and then we traded above here for the last hour. So structure at least on the 1 minute. Yeah, it's actually kind of insane outside. And then I think we could see this ride for some time. I mean, going into higher time frames, NQ looks like it finally mitigated here not too long ago, just like a couple hours back. Everything else is very efficient. You zoom out, market's pretty much solid. So I think we can go and go from here. The exit, we have London session highs right here, Tokyo highs over here. So we have imbalance. There's a lot of different types of setups over here. Like you could target kind of different levels. But this is probably the best for the intraday opportunity. Just take the imbalance. Maybe the market gives something else later. Of course, we have the London and Tokyo highs that get clear as well. But to keep it simple, this is, I think, a great idea. And then you really just lock it in. So I'm going to set this setup here, create a little limit order. We're going to go. Simple. Dow, Dow popped up here earlier, but Dow also left this equal lows right here, London lows. So I wonder if we go target that. And then S&P worked, like it broke above briefly, came back down, and then it's trying to get up here again. So I think NASDAQ just looks pretty straightforward. Buenos dias. What's up, everyone? Y'all up early, ready to go. Now, yeah, that's indices. Now, gold, silver as well has had some volatility here. Some sideways movement throughout this time. So, here are the lows, man. I caught the buy right over here on silver. Pretty wild. Caught the absolute low here, and then this was where I wanted my target for props. Sadly, I wasn't able to carry over into the new day, so I did miss out on a 9R. Kind of hurt, not gonna lie. And then this broke above previous highs, and it's just kept pushing more and more and more. So this has already been fulfilled. So gold and silver have a similar setup. See a big drop here before the continuation. Same thing, you see the drop here before the continuation. So just so you guys can kind of see. Right there. And right now, like in real time, we saw gold clear the highs just a few minutes ago. So sweeps these highs. Actually, let me just go focus on one chart. Clears these highs here. Works its way down. So we break through liquidity. The market, doesn't even give us a lower low on the 1 minute yet, to be honest. It cracks through, breaks. It traded down here for 15 minutes or so. We traded our way back into some resistance over here. I do think maybe the market gets over here, but you're still not even seeing a break below structure yet. So I do think we can probably work our way down. Just not enough proof yet to take a sell here, at least not for me. And silver still doesn't have enough confirmations either. So I think we can get down into kind of this area where we sold off from. Right over here. For gold, same thing can be said for silver, right? Silver comes crashing down over here before rallying. So yeah, we got opportunities for sure. All right, here is NQ. Let's see what this PPI can be fast, guys. So this could happen very quickly. So just be prepared, right? Be prepared for this kind of movement here shortly. All right. We are 20 seconds away. This is about to go down in here. All right, let's hope that this actually wants to work its way down. It's starting to lead and like push higher. So I wonder if this is trapping buyers and going to stop them out right here first. So PPI kicks things off here. Honestly, not that aggressively. I thought we were going to get a stronger, just like a huge move. Not too bad. Okay, not too bad. So it wasn't that aggressive, like massive wick that creates a lot of chaos. We're getting a bit more volatility, sure, but nothing that's not manageable. All right. Okay. YM did dump down like that, but NQ did not. So let's see if we get below these lows with Dow, and then if that sets up NQ. Look how different YM and MYM look. Very different charts. They're all bearish though. So careful with MYM here. A very different chart. Obviously YM has a lot more volume. All right, cool. So I'm going to set an alert here just so that we're ready if the market does break down into here shortly. Now keeping up with news here. For today, what we have next really is more about the New York Open. No more really dollar news. Right now, though, however, you don't really need dollar news to do anything. There's a lot going on in the world, so we easily can have volatility at the snap of a finger or the click of a finger at this point. You know, a little tweet goes out, a little conference goes out, it's a wrap. So, you know, we stay on our toes here. And what we have, well, later is going to be tomorrow. You have GDP. You have unemployment claims, as usual, every Thursday at this time. And then Friday, you have more GBP news. So pretty mellow moving forward for the week. Okay, with that being said, let's look at how the market responded to, like how gold responded from here. What can we expect? Gold did go a little bit lower, took out a little bit of liquidity, but doesn't break London lows, still within consolidation. So I'm not running to take anything here. It's going to be like, just got to let price unfold here. I think this is definitely enticing people to sell around this area. But because the market just does not maintain price action below here, I don't think that's going to be the case. And same thing with silver. So let's do this. Now let's get a little bit more detail with metals and the drop, the liquidity capture. So right here, right at a little right before 2:30 p.m. Central Time. So this is like the final hour of the market. Yesterday during New Year's session, spikes down, clears out tons of liquidity before the market rallies. And I think this is really where we're going to get some solid trading. So whether it's going to be gold, whether it's going to be silver, it's the same timing of this price action. Okay, guys. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go back to this, but I want to make sure we're dialed in here. You guys are at least can be prepared to take this buy. At least I'm going for NQ setups here. You can see the difference between NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones. So relative, like pretty similar how these are all trading. And yeah, my preference here is going to be I'm sticking with NASDAQ. Nothing really changes there. So if you're going to trade that, have your limits set, know your risk management, be prepared. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and send this gold idea and this silver idea. So let's get this going here in the community. All right. Today's setups. January 14, 2026. We got gold. And we have silver. Silver's starting to work its way down. Okay. Silver over here. Similar scenario. Here's where things start to drop below. Clear liquidity. Trading into this zone is what makes the most sense. You've seen support around here before as well. So buys probably around like that 86, 36.5, 86, 37, right around here. Look good. This is kind of where I'd want to see some buys. So it's going to be, as you guys know, we're going to trade off of price action. Metals looking very similar. Stay mindful of how they diverge. Trade the lagger. All right, so here's some setups today. We'll build from here. And then obviously there's this one too. NQ. So Dow is still having a bit more momentum, so it is giving us the right signs. Dow is pushing lower. It's dropping further. It looks like it's going to crack through the London low. It can break through this first. Wow, the wind here is crazy right now. It's like whistling. All right. So we got that going. What do you guys think? You guys see something similar? Or you guys have a different setup? I know majors too are moving. Bendecido miércoles. General question, what more confirmations would be needed before we could seek for sells on indices? It's screaming. Yeah, it's nuts. Bad NQ long? What do you mean bad NQ long? What more is needed for sells? Sells where exactly? Like sells in here? that? Kind of walk me through what you mean there. So for NASDAQ, there's really not, like, the sells that I could see with NQ would have to be maybe trading out of over here. Or you'd have Dow. Let's see. We have this massive drop. So, like, this definitely is something that's worth taking a look at. The huge move here from CPI. So here is a Dow sell potential for sure. Somewhere in here. Probably want to wait for this to get back into this structure right there. I have it marked up way up here. So this would be an idea later on. I mean, it could even happen today, technically. We just don't know. But trading London highs, you're saying? So things pick up right here. For sure. You have some momentum moving sideways. So here's just London highs. It kind of trades back into a little bit of resistance. There's more of an imbalance here as well. And then there's liquidity up here for Tokyo highs. I think it's important to remember, like, what has momentum or not. So if NQ is going to have more bullish momentum and it gets up into this zone, I wouldn't want to sell it. But here you got to ask yourself, was this really a clean sweep of liquidity? So the market goes up, goes up, goes up. It like barely clears these highs. It kind of chops up here before it starts to drop. So I could kind of see it. The structure is definitely there. It does make lower lows. Whereas Dow comes down, comes back up, comes back down. So I think it's going to be important to realize I just don't really see this taking out too much liquidity. It's like, yeah, like an hour or two worth of liquidity. And even then, it's just not a lot of volume. It kind of just slowly goes up and slowly comes back down. So I wouldn't really go for it as of right now. Let's see how the market works its way up. Because if NQ starts pushing up to this zone and Dow is still pretty bearish, then I'd rather just wait it out. So, okay, what's the update with this buy setup, right? Right now, it looks to me like structure has held pretty well. So, like, the fact that price is still just staying above this makes a pretty big difference. Like, it's maintaining. So, it gives some pretty good signs. So, all right, we'll work our way back to this here in a bit. Actually, you know what? One sec. There we go. So let's go look at some majors. Let's see what's good over here. Now, yesterday, I was waiting to see what we could trade from. And we worked our way back up to here with Australian first. So you guys saw it, right? We had CPI go super bullish, takes out tons of liquidity. So this is a very obvious sweep of liquidity. And then it comes crumbling back down. We trade below here. We stay here throughout New York session, trade here into Asian session. And then we kind of barely get into this zone. Now this moved up about 29 pips or so. So on the way down, right, does this mitigate fully? Not yet, but I'll also say we have other assets that haven't worked their way up there yet. So 6A is over here, but we also haven't seen 6N. So NZD still hasn't worked its way over here. So I definitely prefer NZD sells up in this range over here, probably higher, like in this pocket over there. But let me get back to that here in a second, guys. NQ looks like it might be pushing up over into our zone. Sorry, NQ just breaking into the area for reversals now. All right. You have this imbalance here with this order block. This is where I think we can get the reversal from, mainly right around this zone. Anywhere in here is valid, so there's a chance that, yeah, this wants to reject from right here. This is at least 7 points or so away from my entry. Over here, we've seen, I guess, a little bit of support in the past. But yeah, if this rejects and starts flying from here, sadly, that's the move. So let's see. This drops down about 48 points or so. So if we just start ripping from here, then yeah, that would basically be an example of money coming in, the exchange from sells to buys. It's coming in pretty hot, so this might be the case. Sadly, but it's possible. You saw now S&P work its way down to here, playing off of this last level of support. And then Dow, I don't know. I feel like we might go down because Dow is kind of just moving sideways here. It looks like it's just building up more and more support. So do we get one last push down here to break through for Dow Jones, sweeping London lows, which would be functioning as a liquidity? And then could that trigger in this idea over here? So I think we still have a chance. If Dow clears these lows, like it's a nice push below here, and we're just shy of our order, I am open to market execution. Let's see this thing move. Come on now. All right, so some slow movement further down. Okay, nice. Dow looks like it's going to do it. All right, break through that. Let's get some liquidity sweeps here. Interesting thing with the data feed on Dow, I noticed that Dow's like it moves a little bit not slower, like it updates slower. So at this point, yeah, I'm sticking with my original idea here. I think that there's definitely a chance that Dow makes another push further down, and that push down with Dow to sweep liquidity potentially triggers us in here. All right. Got our eyes on this like a hawk. It's about to. It's getting closer. It's just teasing right there. All right, so anyway, 6N, right, as this just builds up. 6N definitely can continue to give a better setup. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I think it's going to be similar. Like we traded into here. This was kind of an order block rejection, and then it drops. So, yeah, we'll still keep an eye on this. I want to see if we get back into here again, what this could look like. So 6A, 6N, the whole bunch here could still be shorting. So let's add this here. 6A, AUD, USD. All right, so we're starting to see NQ kind of bounce up a little bit. Dow still hasn't swept the lows, so luring in more buyers from what, at least how I'm perceiving this, giving them a final hope, a final bit of hope before this thing I think is going to crash. We have 10 minutes till the hour is over. 40 minutes till New York Open. I can't imagine that this sets up. Like, I think this is going to play out before we get to New York Open, whether it triggers us in or not. Damn, the snow here looks insane. Nuts. Here's 6N. All right, so we're starting to push higher again here with NZD. Not quite the mitigation, but it is starting to make the move. Dow here. All right, starting to lure in buyers some more. I'd say it's pretty normal to feel some type of FOMO potentially, like, oh no, it's going to move or leave without me. That's possible. That's very possible. Just got to stick to the plan, though. Trading now doesn't make sense. You know, taking a buy now, you're vulnerable, so don't chase it. Okay, so the yen, man, the yen had a clean move, rejected off of this Asian session, open. This was super clean. I thought I talked about this, but apparently I didn't mark it up. Either way, really nice play right here around London high. So sweeps tons of liquidity, mitigates, and then, so this takes out London session stuff. Well, this takes out a lot of liquidity, right? All of Tuesday, trading into Monday. And I believe someone brought it up. They're like, hey, is this a shakeout? And yes, sir. So we have a massive move up here. Right? Massive, massive, massive influx of momentum here exactly at 6 a.m. Central Time. So you see the market just absolutely, right beforehand, it starts to kick off and then run. So you kind of see this whole move over here. The market immediately crashes. So we're seeing it squeeze. We're seeing this lure in tons of buyers. So there's tons of retail buys that are just building up over here. I would not be surprised if we get another leg higher. This, starts to lure in the most buys, the most break and retest buys, and then you get the reversal. I would target at least these London lows here. So this looks like just a great position to take. The question is, where in this zone are you going to have a sell? Like, where do you want to take this? Where is an entry valid? So if we're looking at price action over here, and here's the 15-second. I know I'm getting in here, but there's like a last 15-second move like right here. So I think selling out of this zone is what makes the most sense. So selling somewhere in here could give a great risk reward. Let's say something like this. And yeah, the idea here, it would be a shakeout. So let's say something like this. And then targets wise, even if you just go for the London lows here, you're looking at, here we go. Just about a 3R. If you take your trade a little higher, obviously the risk reward gets better. But this is what the setup is kind of looking like. And this would be the shakeout. Obviously you have Tokyo lows as well that the market could target. But this I feel pretty good about. So create a limit order here. Actually, you have to make it here. Update NQ, just holding it down, not mitigated yet, just kind of creating more resistance at the moment. So I'm going to have alert here for yen if we start to break above and approach it. And then here is the setup. Create a limit order here. This is a shakeout setup. This will be slightly under leveraged, but that's okay. So yeah, this is basically the idea. And here's the yen. Shakeout, short. Saved. Okay. Okay. So getting back to it. Starting to see momentum come down again with Dow. Started to drop a little bit. NQ still kind of choppy up in here. No breakout yet. All right, so hopefully this thing holds off. So yeah, 6J looks like a great shakeout. Good eyes there. I believe it was, who was it, DeAndre? No, Rafa. Yeah, man, good stuff. Got it on Dow. NQ didn't want to tap in. Yeah, definitely not for me. YM is not by no way, no chance. I was not going to take Dow. With all the liquidity there, with the structure wasn't the same either, right? So we don't really see a liquidity capture if you're looking at Dow here. And then the 5-minute is still pretty bearish, so wasn't going to take Dow. And we can kind of tell. What's up, Hector? What's good, bro? What's up, Taylor? And then, yeah, bigger time frame. If you zoom out some more, Dow has motive to trade lower, to trade into Thursday's imbalance, Thursday's during its New York open over here. So there is more motive for Dow to just take another push down and then make the move. And look at this, that's Thursday's price action. NQ, on the other hand, is a lot more efficient. Everything is traded deep retracements, very effective. Even here, NQ with London lows trades into this structure. So I just feel like this is already, it's a lot more prepared to go. But we'll see. That's just my point of view, of course. I mean, I could be wrong. 6B. So looking at GBP, same thing with trading out of this CPI price action. GBP has been very, it's kind of struggled to drop a lot. It did take out those highs, right? Cleared liquidity. And then now, let me go ahead and clean this up. So it took this out, dropped, and then, but it's already worked its way up here. Remember, there's kind of two different setups, right? You have the market trading into these lows where it spiked down on Friday. So Friday we had it push down before everything rallied. So you have that point of view here, which NZD is at like a 618 pullback. Euro has retraced a lot more. You have the pound that took out these lows and then rallied. This is at around a 50% pullback, so this might be a good setup later. Swiss franc, we decided to stay out of, which I think is the right call. And then this is still CPI move over here. So yeah, setups wise, if we're going to buy something, it would probably be the pound or NZD. But the pound is what's trading relatively high, right around this 50% level. So the pound looks better here for longs, right around this zone. Okay. NQ still pushing. It's almost like getting to that point where it's like, okay, is this the mitigation? Because it's been rallying really nicely. Sadly, we just aren't getting. We didn't get triggered in. So this doesn't really need to travel too much further for this to be like a mitigation setup. Which is annoying because I'm curious to see if this does keep rallying higher. I don't know what our new buy setup would look like. We do crash here, so I guess if we keep going higher, we might be able to find a better setup here. So here you see this, push down aggressively, start to work its way up. So if we were to get higher highs and bullish structure, all that, then we could look for a buy in this area. But for now, guess we'll wait and see. Metals haven't made any clear moves yet. I think y'all mentioned natural gas, right? Someone said natural gas longs. I would say I don't know if I see what you're seeing. I think I might see the setup. So you're thinking maybe here. So market drops into this imbalance, this gap a bit more. So you see a strong push down right here. All right, I think I see what you're seeing. Right there. And it's working its way over to here. Looking for a long on. I'm honestly, this isn't a bad trade. So let's look at natural gas. I definitely see what you're seeing now. And I think I'm going to trade this with less risk reward though, or less risk, because of this gap below. I'm a little cautious with this. So I'm open to it. I see the push down for sure. And I think this can trade into this imbalance nicely. At least into this structure. So I'm with it. I'm going to go about half risk on this idea though. Or hold on. I'm going to go a little over half risk. And then I'm with it. I'll take this buy. I can't trade this. Sick. Natural gas won't trade. Oh, yeah, I forgot some of these accounts don't trade natural gas. Okay, one sec. I forget how annoying that is. All right, let me turn off this trade copier for a sec. Limit order executed on the yen. All right, so, well, let me come back to this. But we have now triggered the yen. Why is this thing frozen? Okay. So yen, right? Yen activated right away. Triggered us in here. So if you guys didn't have limits for the yen, the 6J idea got triggered in right there. All right. So we're all set here. Immediate reaction. So super nice. Love to see that. All right. Are you guys, anyone taking this or not? Was this the contract size 3? I thought it was more. No, I think that's about right. Yeah. So good reaction here. Going up a little more now. Let's see if this thing is going to hold. Meanwhile, we have, let's see here. MNQ also working its way back down. So let's take a look over here. So yen's active. We got MNQ working its way down. Hadn't mitigated yet. So this is good. Meanwhile, though, Dow is kind of trading up higher. The plot thickens, folks. Price action not looking as good anymore. So let's see. Meanwhile, yen is playing out nicely, dropping very nicely. Okay. So let me go set alerts with the yen just so we know if it clears liquidity and all that. So look at this. Nice rejection after coming up one more time. Basically, I want to see when this starts to break below here. That way we can start moving stops and all that jazz. All All right, so we come crashing down into this again for NASDAQ. Dow here. Okay, now Dow's starting to work its way down. Okay, great. Maybe some of you that are more conservative and you're like, you know what, I don't want to miss this. Maybe you took an entry higher. That's not me right now. I'm still chilling. All right, the yen up and down, back and forth, kind of trading back in there again. Let's see, that natural gas idea is still sitting there. So not doing nothing too crazy. Okay. So out of curiosity, anyone, I wasn't able to take natural gas with my accounts with the copy trader. Well, not the copy trader, one of these accounts, I forget which one. But anyways, can't trade natural gas, and since they're all connected, it's just not going to go through. So that's cool. That's fine. Not a big deal. NQ, I'm still not in any setups. Yen is kind of going back and forth. Sitting like right at entry, above entry right now with the yen again. So actually above entry. So if you guys didn't pull the trigger on the yen, and you wanted to, you would have a better entry than at least I do right now. So this did give us a nice little move down off of here. Got a nice push. This is valid until it obviously gets stopped out. So I'm with it. I'm cool with whatever drawdown this might present us. And then NQ here working its way down again. What I don't love about NQ what's like throwing off the potential on this trade is it's starting to push down a bit more aggressively than Dow, and I'm hopefully price action is going to regulate and the bullishness that NQ had over at YM stays. So we'll kind of see, because it'll sometimes it'll just go back and forth. So we'll see here. All right, there we go. So now YM is pushing. There we go. Keep going, Dow. Keep on pushing. We have New York open in less than 20 minutes, so about 17 minutes away. It might just take that long, too. All right. So look now, like I mentioned, right, price action. Dow now is still bearish, still trading down here. NQ kind of just chopping up and down over here. And we got yen still within the zone. Solid. I liked how much it built up retail buyers. I mean, it traded down here for an hour and a half, almost basically 2 hours. So building up retail buy, breaking retest for forever. This now entices tons of buyers. So anyone that's buying here now is in profit. So think about all the stop losses that are sitting right here now. All of the stops are right here. So if this is going to play out, I do think it's going to be a pretty big crash. Like if it's going to respect this and drop and all that, then it should give us a pretty nice move. What I haven't checked out yet actually is oil. I know oil is one of the most volatile assets right now. So let's definitely go take a look at oil and see what's going on over here. Oil is still pushing higher and higher. Yesterday we talked about oil shorts up in this range. So tons of liquidity building up, and then the market just popped off. No, I don't have any buys. Like there just has not been a single buying opportunity that I would have selected here. So the only pending idea that I have right now is with the 4 hour up here. Way up here. And this 4 hour, I mean, you can look at this higher time frames, daily, whatever you want. But yeah, this just took out so many retail sellers, weeks worth, and then this thing just dumps. So same thing. This is still, in my opinion, the closest we can get today, tomorrow, this week, but definitely has potential. So I'm going to keep this the same, exits the same. Two different ideas, one lower and one higher. If they average out, it's looking at over a 3R, so something like 3.5R, give or take, if they both trigger. And then I'm going half risk on each. So just some perspective over here. Adding another idea. I got oil. So my suggestion would be have alert set, right? Be ready. All right, and Q started to rally a bit. Dow building up tons of liquidity for selling and for buying. New York Open's going to be fun. New York Open's going to be interesting. Definitely interesting. Now, the yen back in profit. So across all the accounts, we're trading several accounts, north of 15 accounts here. So right now we went into drawdown, came back into profits. It's kind of chopping up a little bit here. So let's give it some time. I don't need to overmanage this or do anything. Basically, once this starts to break these lows, that's kind of it for me. And Q starting to push up again, kind of going back and forth here. So this is definitely building up. I would say this is kind of a retail buyer liquidity capture as well, or build up. So hopefully it stays within this and it doesn't go and just mitigate. This now takes out some sellers. A little liquidity sweep. Maybe that's what I wanted to do first, and then so we can bring it down one more time. So we'll give oil some time. Don't need to do anything extra there. Bitcoin's been on a mission. So this is fantastic for structure because we are not just breaking above. Because what had been happening is Bitcoin had been breaking above highs and then just absolutely unsustainable. It would break above and just create a wick. So there was no demand. Now we're finally breaking above previous levels, previous structures. And here was the buy, the last buy that I had set up. and then it's maintaining these highs. So now we've been trading above here for the last 16 hours or so. This is bullish structure. This is fantastic. So crypto market wise, pretty solid news, right? 4 hour starting to not just get above, but stay above. So very good price action. The next target would be, in my opinion, trading into 98K, if not trading towards 101. More than likely getting into 101, 102. All right, so it's looking like this NQ setup, if it's going to play out, it's either going to trigger in and we're going to, it's going to be great. It's going to be fine for New York Open, or we're going to get stopped out basically with New York Open. So one or the other. Volatility is starting to kick in a little more as we're less than 10 minutes away from New York Open. Dow is starting to push down a bit further, a bit more aggressively. So yeah, New York Open, in my opinion, should be what shuffles money around. It should be what either triggers liquidity captures, triggers, plays out of order blocks, or plays into these last points of supply. I think that's where we get our final push. I honestly didn't think it was going to take that long, but that's how you can't set expectations. The market chopped up and traded right into that. Yeah, Bitcoin trading super nice. For portfolio, things are good there. ICP still running even harder. Solid. Love that for a lot of you guys. I know some of you hold this. Some of these alts are pushing again a bit more aggressively. Big moves yesterday for ski. Thank God. Dog pushing here. Decent. Actually had a really strong move a couple hours ago. Dude, this is nuts. You guys got to see this, man. I don't know if you guys can really tell what's actually, like, look at this. Crazy. All right, so we're about 8 minutes away from New York Open. I'm going to have an alert here in case we crack through here first. Everything's all set. So since we're 8 minutes out, I'm going to go step away to just grab some water. So y'all can just chill here for like a minute. I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back. And, just keep an eye on this. All right. Tell it, manifest the trade. Yeah. All right, folks. What I missed. Nothing, huh? All right. MNQ. Dow. Here we go. So Dow inching closer to clear out these lows. This is what we want, right? We want to see this. I want to see the sweep so that can trigger this NQ trade. The yen right now is kind of just going back and forth and a little bit of drawdown. So let's do this for this setup. Let's have both here. Let's take a look at the market here. And then let's have the yen. All right, I think the yen just took the lows, yeah? Is that what just happened? Oh, I got really close. We'll make this the 2-minute chart. So just wick down, almost clearing this liquidity. Not quite yet. Creating more, actually. So trading right down to here. No. Don't you dare mitigate yet. It's not your time. We have unfinished business. Creating more and more liquidity. We're less than 5 minutes out. Yeah, ICP explosive. So shout out to y'all that picked up and that been stacking this up. I don't like the tokenomics to ICP, so like it's not something I invested into. Thankfully, to be honest, because this has been, yeah, just not something I want. But either way, unless things have changed. But I know that I had a lot of homies that did own this, so I love to see this being successful and playing out because gotta see the squad winning here. All right, so I do think we're gonna get one more push down on Dow. I just don't know if it's gonna be useful anymore here for this NQ buy, because now the drop here was like 49, 50 points or so. The market is basically making that move here shortly. I mean, I guess it does have to go up a bit more than this, but yeah, I don't know if this is going to trigger us in anymore. It might just stay within the structure here now. Like it could just stick. Like this dropping might only bring this down a little bit, might not actually give us a setup like this. Also, a second setup, which was the sweep of liquidity here. This is no longer, there's like nothing really else to take. So I am just kind of going to leave it like this. If it triggers us in, awesome. If it rips and, does something else, then there's nothing else we can do. It kind of is what it is. Meanwhile, yen is still about, it's like a 0.3 R of drawdown right now. Nothing too crazy yet. And Q also building up, I guess it is really building up a lot of resistance, a lot of liquidity here. We're about 2 minutes away from New York Open. All right, let me just check in on Tradetopia and make sure it's all solid here. Yeah, all right. All is good. All is good. All is good. Oh, big wick down on NQ. All right, maybe we will have some business over here. Interesting how things are kind of flip-flopping right now. So we're seeing, for example, this get closer now to our order. Let's see what we got going on here. I don't know if I'll have enough margin to take NQ on some of these accounts, though, sadly. Yen takes up quite a bit. It's interesting. Now that NQ is dropping so much, I'm a little like cautious because these are starting to trade away from each other now. So let's see. Okay. All right, so we're still pretty close. We have, oh, hold up. All right, triggered in instantly and then pumping right away. Whoa, so this is super fast price action. Yeah, so triggered in, not quite mitigated yet, but Dow exploded. So massive move with Dow. What we want to see from NQ, which doesn't have the same momentum, sadly, would be for a price to get to here, or you just get out because you go, oh, well, I'm in the wrong asset. So sucks to see. I'm just going to, I'm already in this, going to hold it anyways. But, yeah, Dow is the one that really had all of the momentum go in its favor here. So I want to see this push up a little bit more. You guys know oftentimes the market can kind of go back and forth. So here's where we're at. Clearly, Dow Jones came with a lot of bullish momentum. So if you want to be safe, I mean, I'm just taking too long to explain everything, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But, yeah, the safest play would be to take your exit with NQ earlier. Now it's in a bit of drawdown. I don't know if the markets are going to diverge and one's going to go up, the other one's going to go down, if this is just going to end up coming back down because it did react nicely. And then, dude, what the fuck? This thing totally slipped me like crazy. So let's see here. Actually, what just happened here? Wow, that sucks. Anyways, so as you guys can see, what happens when price action flips. So Dow picked up tons of momentum. Dow had all of the steam here, while we had NQ did pump a little bit. So we got some reaction. It went into profit, you guys saw, and then it just kind of obviously dropped. So when you see the open, so let me do a couple things here. So when you see the open like that and we got all this momentum, let me just eliminate this there. Here's the 15-second. So we did see it pump, right? And it only pumped about 30 points or so. So it was a little short. And then we saw Dow at the same time make all of this. So once you saw Dow go up like crazy and NQ barely make a budge to the upside, that was kind of the first sign that, okay, the bulls are in with Dow, not with NQ. So in real time, I was trying to explain it to like, hey, the safest thing to do would be to get out because you're not with the one with the most momentum. And instead of getting out, I just kept yapping. So, yeah, whatever. That's on me. Now, funny enough, because of margin, I actually didn't even take the loss on NQ with the majority of these accounts because there's only so much. You don't have infinite money to trade. And the yen, unfortunately, takes up a lot of that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I got lucky. Only took the L on one account. And remember I said New York Open, it was going to be either profit quick or loss quick. I didn't get slipped too badly. Okay, so now what does this look like? And you know what? funny enough, I kind of had a feeling this was possible. What happened? Yeah. So I had a feeling this was possible. We rejected at it here, but I was like, I wonder if we would go lower. And not that I would trade it, but that's exactly what we did. So with that being said, I don't think NQ, like I think NQ is going to have another chance at a buy. You see New York Open kickoff right here. We're now getting the volatility. So this looks like it's becoming a different setup, a mitigation setup. So you can't get too caught up in the past, can't get too caught up in, what you wanted to happen. Now it's made the move. Cool, great, whatever. So minus 1R, man, I got lucky. I only got 1R on one account because of the margin on the rest of them. So cool. And then, so with that being said, what we want to see now, so that this is a valid, great setup, would be, and Dow is looking like a disaster over here. It's looking crazy. Dow traded all the way up to Tokyo highs, immediately crashed down, comes up, crashes down. So it's very, very choppy, very volatile. Not necessarily looking to do anything here with Dow yet. But NQ, what I want to see is for bullish structure. So over here, we would want to have bullish demand, and then the drop from here, then we can take this towards London, Tokyo highs. So this is the ideal scenario. Now look at how price broke above and immediately dropped. This is not it for me. As much as you get the big spike down, I don't trade this setup. If it's just a very short break above, this is not a break of structure. This doesn't show us that there are buyers, that there's demand over here. We don't get any of that right now. So I'm staying out of that. I have no business with the market there by any means. And then now Dow is ripping to the upside even more. So ¿quién lo entiende? Is wilding right now. Markets are wilding. So considering that we have a lot more bullish momentum, these are kind of moving opposite to one another. You guys can see Dow is pushing higher and higher. NQ is pushing lower and lower. So yeah, this is not a high probability buy. Like, I get it. Here's where we've had some support before. But when the market doesn't create demand, these are lower probability ideas. I've seen these fail just way too often. So I'm okay with just staying out of the market. And just waiting for a better opportunity. I know, especially when you take a loss, one of the first instincts is just, let me get into something, let me make it back, blah, blah, blah. But I just don't think long term it's just not worth it typically. So, yeah. Total P&L. 1 second, guys. I wonder what's going on over here. Give me a sec. There's one account that looks a little off. That's not it. Dollar total, dollar open. Whatever, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Okay. So yeah, everything's going back and forth. Diesel, I think you were looking for the short right here. So this one did play out. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you. Dow, so look at this. We're seeing Dow take out Tokyo highs now finally and then instantly crash. So could this be the formation of a shakeout where buyers come in, take out highs again, take out liquidity. We talked about that. So we had this here, takes this out and then drops. So here's what I need to take this trade. In order to get into anything over here, I would need to see something like this. I would need to see, and you guys see me do this every day, all the time, same thing over and over again. Want to see buyers load up in here, come back up one more time, and then we can take all this out. There's a lot of liquidity over here. A lot of liquidity. So, yeah, basically, let's see this, print out like this. Come back up one more time, and then clear out these orders. So something like this, that would be the ideal scenario here. Now, if we just do what we're seeing now, where the market, it came down and it just comes right back up and just keeps going higher. And again, unfortunately, I don't have a trade to take there either. And we'll just have to keep waiting. But you can't, just because it kind of shows you signs of something, don't go and chase it. So here, for me, this isn't showing me that there's a true demand for price down here long enough. It immediately comes back up. So it's not a sell for me. Has this played out in the past? Sure. I'm sure there's setups that do. But it doesn't have the same level of probability that I want to see. So, looks like it's going to be no trade from me. And Q, on the other hand, also, takes out liquidity, trades into here. Now, the thing is, regarding a shakeout setup here, typically, I only trade shakeouts when it sweeps liquidity, session liquidity, not just 30 minutes or an hour worth of retail sellers, but hours worth. Those are the highest probability plays that at least I get to experience. All right, looks like this is breaking below for NQ, so it just tanked again, going lower and lower. Dow came back down. So it looks like the idea, I guess, was valid. Takes out liquidity, comes back down. The problem is it just didn't chop up here enough. We just didn't create enough demand. So I didn't have conviction on this. By the way, for those of you that are still in the yen idea, the 6J idea, it's still active. It's kind of just sitting there. So I'm still in that trade too. So I wonder what this is going to do. So Tokyo high is swept, London high is swept. And when we lose momentum like this, I like to see shorts, but it didn't give me my setup. So as much as I would have loved to pull the trigger and, had a nasty stop loss, we'd be up fat right now. Unfortunately, it just wasn't the right one. Now, zooming out and taking a look at, okay, where are we going with NQ? What is this going to target? Maybe we're just going to sweep some of these liquidity here or finally trade down to these lower levels. But Dow has a lot of motive. Dow has that liquidity that it didn't sweep earlier. So if you are somehow in a Dow short, then these London lows would be the target. And I'd say from here, really the only setup I could get maybe later would be this, this move up here later on. But we would need a break below for this to hold lower and all that. And to be honest, we have NQ leading the way with this move. So now NASDAQ, instead of being a buy setup, left a sell setup. So now you have this right here. Big move up. Market crashes. So it's going to come down to what price wants to do here. So will price continue to trade down here? Are we going to see some bearish structure and then get a trade over here? So if we get something like this, yeah, could be a play. So let's wait it out. Wait and see, folks. We will wait and see. Dow bleeding out. Nice. So indices overall just continuing to drop. Looks like the main incentive for Dow was just to take out London and Tokyo highs to then drop. So overall, the bias flips to the bear side of things. Meanwhile, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin's still bullish, which is awesome. It's just doing its thing. Indices, stocks here. Something jumped. I had an alert go off. Let me go ahead and check out what that alert was. So Dow, what's this Dow alert? Oh, Dow finally clears those lows. Hey, we got it. We finally got the liquidity that we wanted to see from PPI and later. All right, cool. So is this going to become a shakeout? What are we going to get, guys? Now we swept the low. Are we going to trade up into here? Get a break and retest and then work our way back down to get a buy position. Is this what we're going to get? Stay tuned. So zooming out, we have S&P work its way down to here. We have Dow finally broke that low. Thankfully, we've been waiting on this one for a minute. And then are we going to see this happen now? So London has been swept. Are we going to build up some demand up here and then work our way down over here? It's looking possible. So this is what we want to see now. All right, price up here. Let it chop up a bit. And then a buy in here. Let me look at this alert. Is it into it? I think that was what went off. All right, yeah, I think it was into it. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is trading into this sell-off from April. Remember you guys remember that April crash? Into it just traded into here. Let's say we get a good bounce into this. Looking like, honestly, this isn't the most volatile thing. It would be only basically 32% if it works its way up to these levels. So looks like more of a conservative play over here. There's also, There's also this lower level down here that we haven't got to for NQ, which is over here. And honestly, considering that it's not a massive discount, like I wouldn't make a whole bunch. I think we could crack below this and trade over to here. So I could see it here, maybe a light sprinkling some positions, but I kind of prefer the lower setup. A lot of imbalance. If it doesn't get here and it does play out of here, I'm okay with missing out, because best case scenario, or not best case, but like conservative would be making 30-something% from here. But if it does break below here, then the move becomes like 50. And then if it goes all-time highs again, then it's significantly more. So maybe some sprinkled dollar cost average here. All right. So working our way back to Dow, we immediately ripped up to here where we had the, the crash. NQ, here we go. So we have the market crashing right now again, or crashing is a strong word, dropping. And then as fast as Dow goes up, it goes back down. So again, this is not my type of approach, right? Market came up for just a couple minutes and then comes crashing down. I don't like the market like this. I don't like trading into buys when we have this level. Like there's no, it's just not consistent. It's not creating any sort of like true, it's not really showing us where the orders are yet. If we come back up and maintain, and then we dip one more time, cool, I'm in. Here, though, right now, it's too fast. Like we're seeing, the market reaches these prices, but then it's like, well, no one really wants it here, so it comes back down. It reaches these prices. Well, no one really wants it there, so it goes back up. That constant back and forth is not useful. It doesn't give confidence. So I'm going to hold off. I want more proof. Like the way I look at this is the market needs to prove itself to me. If the market's not proving itself, its quality setups to me, then what? I'm not going to give you my money. You know what I mean? Can you guys hear my dog? All right. Quick recap on majors. Things are pretty much chill, really stable. Yen working its way down. Maybe this is going to hold up. Let's see if we work our way down. A little bit of drawdown still. Pound has been a bit more bullish, so this is giving better signs for the buy, which is for the pound here. Okay, what's moving now, and I haven't checked the chat, my bad, guys. I've just been locked in. Gold is starting to drop. All right, so the drop did come through. We, again, and had a feeling it was going to drop. I think everyone did. Consolidation. But, how many times does it happen, and then how many times does it just go higher? And you're like, oh, what? Why did it happen? So it finally crashed. People made money. Wasn't my setup, so I don't take it. This is at a 38.2 pullback right now. Silver also, right, working its way down. However, it doesn't look like it's the same level of the same retracement. It looks a little bit lighter on the drop. So you're seeing like this is nowhere near a 38.2, maybe like a 15% pullback. So gold definitely more bearish at the moment. Just keep your eye on that. Wait it out. Natural gas looks like we avoided the L here. Cool. Had a feeling. Oil still chilling. It's got ways to go. So same thing. Setup stays the same there. Bitcoin ripping. About to hit 97K here in a sec. That'll bring up typically everything else. ETH, Sol. And we circle back to indices. So we're starting to see consolidation here. So the break retest is happening for sellers. Like we're seeing sellers come in here. This definitely lures more sellers in. I wonder if we come up here again some more. So yeah, if we break below this, now that we've been kind of trading up here for the last 7-8 minutes, would love for it to go up again a little more. And then if the longer we kind of trade up here and then we finally get a dip below, the better, in my opinion. If this right now decides to crash into this area, I'm 50-50 on whether this will play out. I wouldn't take a full risk on this. So like the scenario that I want is basically something like this. All right, this is like the play. This is what the setup would look like. And then, taking out the highs, something like that. The problem is right now it's worked its way up here, but just not for that long. It's been up here for 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So not a ton of sellers get to join the party here. Some, but not a ton. Whereas meanwhile, we're still seeing NASDAQ hold up really well. S&P trade lower. So it can kind of go either way. So in this instant, I would say I would trade this with like half R at the most. We trade up here longer. Give it another 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes. The longer the better. Then I'm down. So I'm going to set a limit order here for half R for now. If obviously we have more later, then dope. But going to keep it there for now. One sec here. That's not it. Hold on, guys. Where is... here we go. All right. Just making some changes. So as you guys can see, right, we're kind of chopping up and down and up and down. At the moment, I feel better just kind of holding up here. Half R. I'm not fully sold on how much it's luring in sellers quite yet. It's been a bit now. It's like decent. So you got about 10 minutes or so. So if it does finally crack through, it's a decent bet. I'm willing to see it, right? Like I'm willing to risk a half R to go for something bigger. So now we're breaking through these lows, trading into this imbalance. Question is, one, will it trigger us in? And two, is it going to stay within the structure? While this is going down, let's see, NQ and S&P also still going further down. This just missed me by 3 ticks for now. Still 3 ticks. All right, so now we're in there. And then looks like didn't have enough margin on one batch of accounts. That's unfortunate. Let's see. Oh, whoa. All right, well, there it goes again. So half RL there. Let's see. Damn, I'm just getting gutted today. But like I said, I kind of expected it, right? This here wasn't creating the most demand in the world, so I was okay with that. So half our loss there. I think it was less than 250. So that puts me at NQ at a loss. That was a 1 hour loss. MYM at a half hour loss. And then currently still holding the yen trade. So yen trade could make up for all of it. Obviously these sessions, I was willing to see this one through because of the build up right here, and it was a London session low that gets swept. So I was cool with that. I don't really have any remorse with that idea whatsoever. So not a big deal. And that's kind of the beauty of having your risk, like understanding and accepting what the risk is going to be for you, because otherwise then you have all of this what would be the word I'm looking for? Regret, right? You end up building up this regret. Man, I'm just liquidity here right now. I'm like retail as fuck, I guess. This is like, oh yeah, now we're going to come back again. So let's see what happens. But what we are seeing, though, is a really good evidence for at least the NQ sell later. So that's giving us some pretty good signs so far. So I'm going to give an update here on this setup because I do like this setup here. And then taking shorts in this range makes sense. Really anywhere from like here, basically 75, 25, 745 and above looks like a good short over here now. This might take some time to get back over here. So here's NQ. Yeah, man, it's been unfortunate. I've had like New York session stream this week has been kind of weak, to be honest. And then like I took a nice gold trade during Asian 2 days ago. And then yesterday's silver trade played out later in the stream. So if you guys weren't aware, like you guys check out the community. In the community, I always drop like pending ideas and things I'm looking at. So yesterday's silver trade ended up giving a 9R. It was epic. So yeah, be on the lookout, guys. Obviously, sometimes the stream is lit. We're catching a lot of trades. Nice risk reward. Good management either way. But now, for example, right, this session, at least during the session, have taken a 1.5R loss. And I just want to make sure you guys, one, manage your expectations well. Two, you stay composed. I think that is extremely, extremely important. I'm just updating the setup so that's not like there's not trades that shouldn't be there anymore. Okay, so Okay. So NQ looks good. Dow, if it turns into something, I'll let you guys know. I'll keep you all posted. And then beyond this, the yen idea coming back here, working its way back. So this might be this might be what recovers the rest of it, to be honest. So we might see this work its way down and push, clearing at least this liquidity and working its way lower. So cool. So during this time, and that's kind of the nice thing about, I guess, risk management is the margin, being able to trade, kind of what you should be able to trade. That way you're not making tons of mistakes and you're not forcing too much. So for now, got the yen going. Well, this is active. This is the only active idea I have pending. There's a bunch that have been sent. And then let me look at the chat. Let's see how devastated everybody is in here. I like JPY since it's continuation of last sell, for sure. With crypto, do you slowly DCA out on the way up, or you look at overall market, total market cap, BTC dominance, BTC? It's a whole bunch of things. Yeah. Yeah, so I look more so at that. So I'm not dollar cost averaging out at all right now. Not even close. Like, we haven't even gotten interest rates, I think, low enough to where the market gets ready. Macroeconomics wise, quantitative easing is like going to be starting soon. Like macro wise, like there's really no, like this thing should keep going. Gold is bleeding. What rules of trade if I have with news? None. Yeah, there's no rule with futures. You don't really have news, like the weird ass news rules. At least not any accounts that I trade. Forgot to move my stops on my live. Still in. Nice. I'm about to hit TP. Sick. I don't have a Discord, but I do have a school community. It's been on your screen the whole time. There's like a QR code. It's also in the description. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make life real easy for you. I'm going to just drop the invite. Also, actually, it's just here. Let me know if this link works. It's just tradingwithmike.com. Click that. Or maybe this will work. Tradingwithmike.com. That works. Sick. Cool. All right, guys. So if you're someone that's newer to trading, you're, let's say, building a system, new to my streams and my trading. I've been doing this for 10 years. Right now, typically a setup that I take, the risk is anywhere from like $5,000 to $7,500 a trade. Sometimes $10,000. Just depends on this. Could I on Discord? No. I don't want to do that. So when I'm taking these, you guys are just seeing one account being copied over. But the most important thing I want you guys to always think about is, like, we're all doing the same thing. I just have access to more capital. That's it. And the psychology of working with more money is something you have to develop. The psychology of losing more, even though it's still 1R, is something you have to keep developing. So if you're newer, join the community, check out the classroom. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff in here. Tons of value and a lot that we've been working on behind the scenes. So more stuff is going to be launching. If you've been trading and if you've been trading and this is something that you're dedicated to, then keep showing up, guys. Keep showing up. manage your expectations on, what you make out of it, what you get, but just keep making iterations. So what that means is keep looking to improve. Okay, how could I have, managed this trade better? Was I impulsive? How disciplined was I? And just keep working on that element of things. All right, guys. So, anyways, great session as always. If you want to accelerate your trading, you're tired of having the same outcomes but showing up, and you want a higher level of accountability, feel free to check out the syndicate. But with that being said, y'all, 1.5 hour loss on the stream. That's trading. Whatever anyone else is showing you, it's not. All right. If people think you got to win every day, you have to green day every day, it's unrealistic, and it actually makes it harder for you to lose. So we're under the belief that the better you are at losing, the better you're going to be able to win long term. So anyways, guys, much love. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be trading here a little bit earlier as well for unemployment claims. But with that being said, check out the community available to everyone at every part of the skill. And then you have the hands-on mentorship session on the right. Peace.